Prophet Muhammad peace be upon him is reported to have said when answering the question related to the setting of the sun. It goes and prostrates beneath the throne, then it asks for permission to rise and permission is given to it. This hadith has become the target of many critics of Islam, pointing to it as a proof of the fallacy of Islam. However, at close examination we can clearly see that they have in fact completely failed at understanding his statement. They attack his statement from four angles. 1. Sun's rotation around the earth. 2. Movement of the sun. 3. Prostration of the sun. 4. Sun going under the throne. So let us examine these four angles in detail. The first criticism is the claim that the hadith somehow suggests that the sun is rotating around the earth, geocentric, whereas in reality, it is the earth that is orbiting around the sun, heliocentric, and on its own axis that gives us the impression of sunset and sunrise. This contention can easily be resolved by pointing out that the Prophet Muhammad peace be upon him here is speaking in the context of how things appear to be from earth, not how as they really exist. A resident of this planet observes the sun moving from sunrise to sunset and not the earth. When the day ends, we say the sun has set, and when the day begins, we say the sun has risen. To be more accurate, shouldn't we say sunlight has moved away from our location or sunlight has come upon our location? However, we universally use the terms sunrise, sunset, and statements like the sun has risen, the sun has set, etc. because this is how the sun appears to us here on earth. Therefore, the Prophet Muhammad peace be upon him is trying to describe the same phenomenon to a 7th century Arab in words that he will understand, because the sun moving is what appears to him from earth. The second criticism leveled against this hadith is that it suggests that the sun is moving whereas it is the earth that is moving. This too deserves the same reply as in the previous section. However, it should also be noted that the sun is not still. Yes, the sun is not moving around the earth, but it is moving at a very fast pace through the Milky Way galaxy, and it is taking us along with it. This moving of the sun is stated explicitly on NASA's own website. In fact, our whole solar system is moving through the galaxy. Therefore, the critique of the very movement of the sun being problematic should be rejected. This phenomenon of our whole solar system on a move is in complete harmony with a verse in the Quran in chapter 36 verse 49, where God says, "It is not allowable for the sun to reach the moon, nor does the night overtake the day, but each, in an orbit, is swimming." The third criticism against this hadith is that it is speaking about some act of prostration occurring from the sun, which is not visible, especially with all the modern scientific tools we have at our disposal, where the sun is watched all the time. The critics say it is just the earth rotating and the sun itself is not doing anything. This is where belief in the unseen comes into play. It is a type of prostration that we do not understand, nor can we comprehend its true nature. It is part of the knowledge of the unseen. The absence of an understanding of something does not necessitate that it does not exist. In fact, in chapter 22 verse 18, God tells us that everything prostrates to him. Do you not see that to God prostrates whoever is in the heavens and whoever is on the earth, and the sun, the moon, the stars, the mountains, the trees, the moving creatures, and many of the people? But upon many the punishment has been justified. When was the last time we observed the mountains, trees, and moving creatures prostrating to God? We have never, but they are doing it in a way that we do not understand. In chapter 17 verse 14, God is so explicit about this fact that it should suffice as an answer. The seven heavens and the earth and whatever is in them exalt him. And there is not a thing except that it exalts God by his praise, but you do not understand their way of exalting. Indeed, he is ever forbearing and forgiving. When was the last time we observed these things exalting God? Never. But they are doing so in a way we do not understand. In another verse, God tells us that even thunder exalts him with praises. Hence, Imam al-Qurtubi said, "It cannot be denied that the sun halts beneath the throne, in a manner that we cannot see or comprehend, rather this is speaking about a matter of the unseen. So we should not disbelieve in it or ask how it happens, because our knowledge cannot comprehend it." The problem is that these critics try to give a shape to the prostration in a way that a human being does, but the sun is not a human being. We have our way of prostrating to the Creator, and rest of creation has its own way. Much like how different creatures on this planet have their own unique way of communicating with each other. What would small bugs think of our prostration? The last criticism against this hadith is that it claims that the sun goes under the throne, yet we do not see any physical throne in our modern 24-hour monitoring of the sun. This objection can also be easily resolved by pointing out the fact that the throne of God is part of the unseen, as is its location. Therefore, it is not possible for us to physically define its location so that we can actually see the sun prostrating beneath it. We do not possess sufficient enough knowledge of the unseen to be able to unravel its secrets. In addition, there is a big difference between the inability to conceive something and the inability of something to occur. Just because we cannot imagine or understand something does not mean it cannot occur. One of the many causes of people to have doubts about such religious texts is that they often mix the two and then claim that it contradicts modern science. Even in the realm of the scientific world, which is constantly changing ideas, there were numerous things in the past which were considered impossible but only later on with advancement were proven to be in fact possible. In other words, even in science, when the appropriate tools are not there to be able to conceive or understand something, it can lead to the rejection of its existence even though it may be right in front of us. If this is the case for things in this world, then what of those outside of it? When we look at this hadith from the angle that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is describing something from the world of the unseen, it is not difficult to accept it or believe in it. As Muslims, it is part of our duty to believe in the unseen and accept it as true because God or His Messenger have said so. For us, authentic religious texts, Quran and Hadiths, are considered reliable sources. God tells us in the beginning of His last revelation sent to mankind in chapter 2 verses 2 and 3. This is the book about which there is no doubt, a guidance for those conscious of Allah, who believe in the unseen, establish prayer, and spend out of what we have provided for them. There are numerous statements in the Quran and the Hadiths which tell us of things from the unseen that we cannot imagine, but we believe to be true because Allah and His Messenger said so, such as, angels recording our deeds, taking of souls by the angel of death, questioning and punishment in the grave, divine decree, paradise, hell, soul, jinn, power of supplication, and much more. Therefore, we can realize at close examination that the Hadith, in fact, is not inconceivable at all.